everyone. Hello and welcome to the full moon in Virgo. This full moon is a little different. It's a little bit different than your average full moon, and mostly because Uranus is in play. Lilith was squaring the nodes all day yesterday, and the moon, once it's, well, tomorrow, it's going to oppose Neptune. So with this full moon, right, full moons are big releases, and with this release, it's the release of illusion, okay? It's the release of illusion. And a lot of it has to do with potentially being critical of the self. So do your best today, tomorrow, and over the next few days, right? Because this energy is going to carry on for a few days. Just make sure that despite the fact that you may be very aware of spiritual mistakes that you've made, energetic mistakes that you've made, either connecting with certain people or connecting with certain situations or whatever choices that you've made, understand that there's a reason, right? This is the perfectly imperfect themed readings. There is a reason why it all happened the way that it did. And do not be super hard on yourself. Okay, we are all here in a major learning process, okay, in this life. Saturn clicked into Pisces less than an hour after the peak of the full moon this morning. I know my work felt the energy shift. It was pretty fucking wild to watch it, because I know what's going on in the fucking cosmos, and I'm seeing the energy shift, and I'm like, oh my god. So listen, things are not perfect. It's okay, because when you acknowledge what could be better, you allow yourself the opportunity to grow and actually be better. So, let me see. That is not ASMR friendly. All right, that's a little bit better. Let's see here. If I can make myself just a tad taller. All right. All right. So, right now, as we're recording the live, you can see I'm looking at the very current cosmos right now. Mars is squaring the moon, and it is squaring Neptune, Gemini to Pisces. So the energy may be, for some, not all, for those of us in the collective who are in a state of misalignment with our energy, where we're still struggling with, you know, under the surface traumas and things like that that are playing a role in our everyday life and the things that we're manifesting. There may be very intense conversations. There may be brutally honest conversations. There also may be seriously fabricated lies. People coming from a place of desperation to not be wrong when they know on some level that they're wrong, right? There's a lot of owning with the choices that have been made with people. So the next few days are going to be very intense for some, very humbling for some, and very clear with what steps to take regardless. So Virgo is a sign of each step one step at a time. And Pisces is the sign of the soul and the dream and the mission, the purpose to why we're here. It is also the sign of fear and delusion and illusion and fantasy, right? The things that we create in our mind that we feel like they're real when really it's just a fantasy that we created and thought was real. So there's going to be a lot of discerning over the next few days, and a lot of humbling for some, and the humbling won't come easy. Okay, it is not easy. The one sign that I joke never says they're sorry is Virgo. You know what I mean? And this moon being in Virgo, it's going to be very hard to apologize to the self for being mistaken, especially because Virgoing energy, and you see the memes, doesn't make mistakes. Virgo doesn't make any mistakes. So there's going to be a lot of acceptance that is hard to swallow for a lot of people. All right. So keep it in mind just throughout the duration of the week, and how that starts to affect things over the course of the next 2 weeks as we build towards the new moon. Now, for these secret code names, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the secret code name events, these secret code names are paid for by individuals via my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop link is in the description if you would like your own personal secret code name reading. All right, they are your personal readings. The beauty about them is that because they're secret code names, anybody can resonate or be drawn to one of the code names. And if that is the case, chances are there is a message in there for you, okay? All of us are connected in some which way, shape, or form on shared wavelengths. And so if you caught this video in divine time, whenever you catch it and you were drawn to a certain secret code name, take the message as it resonates for you. We are going to be using the Symbolon deck and my Wizard's Tarot, because magic is Pisces and the wizard magician energy is Virgo. So we are going to get right in to these readings. The secret code names are Delilah, Moondance, Rainbow Valley, and Pieces of You. All right, for those of you 90s song fans, Pieces of You was totally by Jewel, and it flashed and played in my head when I got the secret code name. Delilah is also a song, so I believe Moondance might even be a song. So not surprised with Piscean energy, okay? But those are the 4 secret code names. Timestamps will be in the comments after the live is over. I will put them in there for you so that you can fast forward to whatever reading you are drawn to when you catch this. Alrighty. Oh, and for those of you who signed up for my Divine Rebel Diamonds membership, I am glad to say that my webcam is in the mail. So we won't have this shitty camera because I have to stream it from my laptop for those. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all of you because you're fucking awesome. Shout out to all of my Divine Rebels. If you would like to join the Divine Rebel membership, I go live on Saturdays at 3 p.m. to do Divine Duality energy readings, Divine Masculine and Feminine. That is every Saturday at 3 p.m. And on Sundays, I will read a personal reading for anyone who would like to show up for the live. That is at 11 a.m. on Sundays. I do one reading for any of my Divine Rebel Diamonds. Okay, so if you would like to become a member, the link to do that is also in the description. All right. You can get personal readings from me on Sundays if you make the live. So, starting with Delilah. What's the timestamp on this? Oh, there goes my pen. My Dreamer Apothecary pen. Shout out to Stephanie. I love you. Delilah's timestamp 9:54. All right, Delilah. What is going on? Perfectly imperfect. What is it that you need to see? You know, I'm going to pull Power of Love cards too. Why the fuck not? Okay. What is the perfectly imperfect clarity, the overall theme of the energy for you with this full moon in Virgo? Ooh. Interesting. These cards are really cool because there's no numbers. They're not like tarot. They're symbolic, and it's all tied to the different astrological energies. We've got Taurus Venus, Gemini Mercury, Virgo Mercury, and Scorpio Pluto energy. We also have Libra Venus and Capricorn Saturn on top and bottom. This is the top and bottom of the deck. And I will show you these cards. Okay. Top and bottom. We have the shepherd. He's very much like a shepherd. There's tons of animals around him, all different kinds. There's bulls, there's sheep, there's goats, there's different kinds of birds. And then the bottom of the deck, we have this couple who's cuffed together with this shadowy figure behind them. You can see they're cuffed right there in the middle. And then we have this energy here. And one energy is very free, right? This energy is very free. Out in nature, beautiful, free energy. And then we have this very binding, very dark energy. I'm feeling like because this is the top of the deck, that this is representing your energy because it's consciously what you're aware of. So I feel like you're in this free, bright energy, and there's something going on below the surface or outside of your parameters that you are not necessarily a part of, right? It's the card furthest away from you. I feel like it's involving potentially a couple who is bound to each other in some which way, shape, or form through trauma or guilt or fear or anxiety. You know, there's something going on, and I feel like someone is seeing potentially how fucking stupid they've been, that they've trapped themselves in this kind of a prison. Someone is choosing to suffer. And I say choosing to suffer because in this card here, it looks like the Three of Swords, but there's only two swords. And two swords is a choice. There are two swords there. Someone is absolutely martyring themselves. That heart with the two swords has a crown of thorns around it. And they're whipping the self, right? They are whipping the self. There is some kind of martyr energy going on. Whoever's in that prison, right? Because this person's in the enclosed space. And then we have these two women who are talking, who are dressed in very beautiful clothes in this kind of emerald city, right? Reminds me of the Emerald City, but it's very open, right? The door is open. They're walking through whatever threshold that is. Again, very free. It's not punishing, right? And it falls under each top and bottom like that, if you could see how the cards came out, right? So everything is happening perfectly. Let's get some insight into what all of this is. Because if this was your reading and you were drawn to it, chances are you already know. You already know, but we want to understand why it is so perfectly perfect. So Spirit, insight please for secret code name Delilah. To be fair, it could be the feminine energy in this dynamic, because this is a female. It could be a female who is punishing herself in this chained shadow trauma ridden dynamic. Whoever is choosing, truly choosing to suffer, it's the feminine. Okay. The female or the feminine, take it as it resonates for you. Okay. I think they look at you with envy because they're trapped and you're free. They're trapped in their own prison, and they keep, it's like they're choosing to hold the victim card. They're choosing to hold that energy to feed off that vibration. They're not really a victim of circumstance if they're choosing it. You know what I mean? So what is going on that Spirit would like you to know concerning this energy? We've got the Emperor in reverse. Masculine energy. We got the Sun card upright. The Magician upright. Wow, three major arcana. So we got the Emperor, that's Aryan energy. We got the Sun, that's Leo energy. And we got the Magician, Virgo, Gemini energy. Mercury. The Six of Cups reversed under the Emperor. The King of Swords under the Sun. Clarify the Magician, please. And the Ten of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Pentacles. Top of the deck is the Knight of Swords. Well. I can't help but feel like this is you. Free. Right? Free. Outside. Free. This energy, this Knight of Swords energy is you. Outside. Free. We got this beautiful white wizard, right? Or white witch, white wizard type energy. Light. Magic within the self. She's bringing light wherever she goes, bringing healing wherever she goes. It's like you're triggering. Your very presence may be triggering. You leave a trail of magic behind you. Hardcore magic. I think you've been very patient. Waiting for heart's desires to manifest. Because you definitely feel like you were robbed. You were robbed, defeated even. The masculine energy tied up to the tree, right? By someone who made very deceptive choices. Self-sabotaging choices, right? Aligned with the dark. They're carrying 3 swords in their hands. So this may very well be the masculine energy of the feminine here. Right? Someone who's choosing the 3 of Swords, choosing suffering. But they know the truth and they're not happy. They're not happy. They could put on whatever happy face they want. They're not. You've been patient waiting on something. Waiting on the forward movement. The Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Cups. Yeah, I feel like with this Knight energy and your forward thinking, right? Swords are of the mind. I think you're forward thinking. It tends to be a communication card, but sometimes us being in that energy, we're having open conversation with the self, right? We're being vulnerable with the self and having open conversation with the self. And I feel as if you have a lot of momentum, right? Your thoughts are progressive. They're solution oriented to what is going on with you. The divine masculine energy, the Emperor in the reverse, the 6 of Cups in the reverse. There may be a masculine who is literally feeling upside down with a toxic soulmate who is no longer aligned with them, right? This kind of energy here. It's happening for a reason. You're seeing things from a higher perspective without the journey being what it has, right? Without this masculine energy and this chained dynamic being all wrapped up with whoever this toxic soulmate is, this martyr, you know, I'm a victim person, you would not have seen all that you see now. Like, you would not be on the vibration or the level that you're on now. You wouldn't have sought out higher knowledge, right? You wouldn't have sought out divine connection or the divine mirror of things, right? If things didn't transpire the way that they did, you wouldn't actually be, spiritually speaking, where you are. And you're manifesting the 10 of Cups because of where you are. You're manifesting the 10 of Cups because of the alignment and the energy that you are in. You are manifesting the freedom. You are manifesting the beauty of it all, right? The rainbow. The rainbow in the background here. Because you understand energy now the way that you do, like, this is what you're receiving. You wouldn't have been able to align with the 10 of Cups vibration without understanding what a 10 of Cups vibration is. Had this not transpired, had you not sought out tarot, had you not sought out, you know, astrological knowledge, if you haven't, you know, gone down the hermit's path and did the inner journey, right, you wouldn't actually understand the laws of manifestation, right? How we actually manifest what we want. It's an inner journey. If everything didn't get tied up the way that it did, you wouldn't have truly been set free. So, right? Hold a lot of gratitude. especially for the person who has martyred themselves, because despite the fact that you may have had something stolen from you, or you've had to be patient, right? And the manifestation of it all, if it wasn't for the situation going down the way it was, you really wouldn't be self-aware like you are now. What does Spirit want you to remember? Action, responsibility, and expression. It's interesting, they all have the same background. Because the deck's not like that, right? They all have different backgrounds. It's interesting because where I cut the deck, it was a loyalty to peacefulness. So action, responsibility, and expression. Have the courage to express the unique, loving colors of your soul. Be aware of the power of your thoughts and the amount of love you express with your actions. You are ready to manifest your thoughts and transform them into acts of love. So Spirit is letting you know, action, right? The actions that you're taking, right? The actions that you are taking, being in communication with yourself, you're manifesting what is essentially your freedom and your happiness, right? Your fulfillment, your emotional fulfillment, where you're not being drained by other people, but that you are able to fill yourself and overflow where you can and where you want, or where you're guided to overflow to, right? It is your responsibility, right? Act on your responsibility to express your highest vision of you, what's in your highest good, okay? That was secret code name Delilah. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. You know, even the song, it's like, hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? In a few years, you'll be done with school and I'll be making history like I do, you know? And sometimes things just take a little bit of time. But eventually, time always shows up, you know? Time always shows up. Things that are meant for us always align eventually, because it's meant for us, you know? Saturn is the Lord of time. It doesn't stop moving. It doesn't stop moving. It's constantly ticking. It's constantly going around. It's just a matter of time before things change and shift, right? And it's funny, in a few years, and Saturn transits signs just about every 3 years, which is a few years. So, yeah. Pay attention to your Piscean placements, because that is where you're going to be called to rise to the challenges, and know that Spirit would never actually give you more than you can handle with your own capability of learning through it, right? Saturn, people say it restricts, but what it really does is it puts responsibility on you. It puts that, hey, you're capable of leveling up energy on you. So be aware of your own Piscean placements. All right. That was Delilah. Moon Dance. We are going to get into Moon Dance. 58. All right. So Moon Dance. Spirit, please, for secret code name Moon Dance, and those of you who would be drawn to this message in divine time, what is perfectly imperfect? What do we need to know? Everything that has happened for a reason. What clarity can we receive from what we deem is not perfect and yet is perfectly imperfect? What is it? So we have this woman. She's got this thread with what seems like either a crystal or a sharp point on the end. She's got scissors in her lap. She's cutting this golden thread, and she's dressed kind of like a nun. There's a cave behind her and a river in front of her. It's Piscean, Neptune energy, and Capricorn, Saturn energy. So this is very Pisces. The Pisces energy going on right now. Right, Neptune and Saturn now, both in Pisces. And then we've got Pluto leaving Capricorn. We've also got Gemini, Mercury energy, Virgo, Mercury energy on top. A gentleman playing chess with himself. And then we have this Cancer, Moon, Taurus, Venusian energy on bottom. One woman looking in the mirror and seeing two different reflections. In one reflection, she's regal, she's wearing a crown and, you know, touching her pearls. And in the other, she's more homely and she's carrying a child. She's a mother. And under that, we have this woman running through what is essentially a graveyard. That's underneath. And then counting her money under that. Okay. I feel as if looking at the bottom of this deck, you've been learning quite possibly how to cut cords. But not the way you're used to, because I'm getting this message that it's almost, and I don't want it to sound as bad as it's gonna sound, but it's gonna come out and sound the way it's gonna sound. Okay. It's almost like a habit of seeing opportunity in people, or seeing people as opportunities for yourself, and figuring out how you can get these said people to benefit you in the way that you see that they can benefit you, right? It's almost like having a certain goal and realizing that the way you've been going about achieving your goals, essentially, for lack of a better way of saying it, using people. When you see the benefit someone can bring to you and you try and figure out how to get them to deliver that benefit, and then cut ties, right? When either you get the benefit or you realize you can't get the benefit, right? You have to acknowledge the fact that that is essentially using people. And it may have been in the pursuit of money. And maybe it's because you had parents who, you know, tried to instill in you how important it is to make money, how important it is to be independent, how important it is to never be trapped or stuck in a relationship that's not healthy, to always be able to support yourself, to have a way out, you know, like whatever it is that's in the past, because, you know, that graveyard card is running from the past. The Reaper is back there, right? You can see death back there. and she's running from it. And it's like running from the past, and yet there's this type of hoarding energy. She's hoarding all that money. An attachment to luxury and nice things. You may have grown up in a situation where maybe you were told no a lot. Maybe you couldn't have what you wanted. Maybe money was scarce back then. You know what I mean? No, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss Rainbow Valley, Lala. It's next. I'm feeling like there's a reason why, something in the past, there's a reason why you feel it necessary to accumulate wealth. And maybe wealth is attractive to you, which is why you do what you do and present yourself the way that you do, or at least have for a long time. I think that's starting to shift. I think what you're learning now is that there are certain things that may be more important than money. You know, especially if in the past you were attracted to partners who had money, attracted to wealthier or well-to-do or, you know, work-driven individuals who made good money but didn't necessarily end up being good partners. You know what I mean? Maybe they pushed you and pulled you to be more on their level. And maybe you found reasons to escape your own upgrade. Either way, I feel like you've been playing... Overall, I feel like you've been playing chess with people. And now you're starting to come into a different understanding of what is important. And the reason why you were playing chess with people, right? That the people are the pawns and the pieces that you're moving around to achieve whatever goal. I think you've grown tired of that version of yourself. I think that version of yourself is old and no longer suiting your new goals. I think your new goals have a lot to do with being loved and loving, right? And actually settling into a more nurtured experience. And I think you're kind of weighing whether or not you can actually do it, or if you want to continue in what is familiar, even though it doesn't resonate with you anymore, right? Can you actually change and flow into something different? It might be really significant because it's a secret code name Moon Dance. Cancer Moon, right, is here. Might be your moon sign may be very significant to understanding where this energy comes from and how to let it shift. Okay. Understanding your moon sign, the light attributes of it, the darker attributes of it, and the house in which it falls, because the houses of your chart matter like a lot. You know, what house your moon falls in is a big deal. You may have been a very nurturing, it may be the opposite. You may have been a very nurturing person in the past. You may have been that wife, mother type of person in the past, and are realizing that maybe that is not who you want to be, and you do want to go towards money, and you do want to have a stack of abundance, right? It could be the complete opposite. So take it as it resonates, you know, especially if you were taught in your past that, you know, men have to provide a certain lifestyle and you have to be a certain kind of woman to have it. And if you're not with a partner, then you can't have what you want. And maybe you're like, fuck that whole notion of what I was taught. I'm going to be extremely independent. I'm going to create a lot of wealth for myself, not being tied into a situation that I was taught, right? So take it as it resonates. Spirit may be moving the pieces around. It might not be you playing chess. It might be spirit. So, yeah, this is definitely a choice between two versions of self that you're facing. And you're deciding which one you actually want. Insight, please, Spirit, into why this is perfectly imperfect. How they got here. The High Priestess in reverse. The Page of Swords and the King of Pentacles. You may have done things against your intuition in the past, which was a healing process with the star there. You were doing what you were supposed, quote unquote, supposed to do, or was expected of you, right? You were doing what you thought was expected of you. What you thought was attractive. You may have been, you may have had a hard time detaching from very materialistic men or masculine energy who used money as a form of control, right? They have the money, they have the power. You have the Two of Cups on top with the Emperor on bottom. This King of Pentacles is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles and the Devil. I feel like what you're learning, why everything was perfect, even though it seemed rather, you know, fucked up or whatever while you were going through it. Like, this is fucked up, this is not fair, this is awful, or this is painful, or this is draining, right? Whatever the process was, especially if you were dealing with toxic men. And I really do feel like it's toxic masculine energy, but I keep saying the word man, and that's not usual for me. I feel like you've been dealing with toxic men who maybe expected certain things. You know, a typical example would be like, the man's the breadwinner, he makes all of the money or the bulk of the money, and he expects you to do certain things for him, like maybe expect sex out of you or, you know, whatever, to keep him happy because, you know, he provides everything, and so you have expectations on you. And there's no real growth or change there. It's very stagnant. It's very stagnant. It hinders your own creativity. It hinders your own progress. And I think there's a part of you that maybe was taught that, or learned, right? Not taught outright, but learned from witnessing other people and other dynamics that that's what you do, though. You know, you find somebody who can support you and be a good partner. And by good partner, I mean what your partner expects you to be, to fulfill whatever needs they have, because they're filling needs, they're filling needs that you have, right? It's very codependent. The High Priestess in reverse with the Star card, I feel like you were doing what made sense, maybe against your own intuition. And I feel like you understand, or are coming into the understanding, that you have been missing opportunities to start over in your own beginner's mind type of thing, where you unlearn everything you think you know and release expectations or release patterns that you've picked up in order to start new. I think when you reach that union energy within yourself, right, this Two of Cups is when your heart meets your mind and says, hey, the things that the mind has been choosing don't feel good. So the heart and the mind have a conversation. It says, okay, this is what feels good for me. I want to choose in alignment with that. And that is when your masculine energy starts to really shine, your own Emperor energy, and you reach that wish fulfillment with the Nine of Cups, and you're like, holy shit, right? The Tower under that. Like, wow, like I was living in what is essentially a nightmare, and all I needed to do this whole time was take a leap of faith out of self-sabotage, right? Make the moves and face the truth of the situation the way my heart felt. And this whole time, you know, maybe you were conflicted about it. And so now, where there may have been indecision, where there may have been internal conflict, where there may have been times when you were deeply dissatisfied with the experience or the people that you were connecting with, I think that you're coming to terms with the fact that maybe you've been mimicking what others have done without realizing it, and deciding that this is a time for you to truly be in different energy and choose your own path and live authentically in a way that you have not necessarily witnessed from other people, right? That other people haven't taught you by leading by example, but that you're choosing it because you know it exists even if you've never seen it. Yeah, remember detachment. That is the reminder for you. Remember, you are releasing old patterns and ideas that no longer serve your highest ideals of love. You've been living in an old pattern. You've been living in an old pattern. And this is where, you know, the darkness, the devil energy is our greatest teacher. Like, the darkness serves the light. Like, we hear readers like myself say it all the time, the darkness serves the light. And it's the truth. Saturn, right, devil's energy, Saturn is our greatest teacher. It's our greatest teacher. If you want to connect that to the underworld, right, the devil is, you know, the lord of hell or the underworld. It's Plutonian. Pluto is an excellent teacher. It's a very long-term teacher. It teaches over the course of 15 to 20 years, a very valuable lesson that the soul needs. And so it helps alleviate, right? It helps alleviate certain deeper soul scars by reminding you that every time you rip the cut open, it hurts. You know what I mean? Every time you rip it open, it hurts. Stop ripping it open. Stop ripping it open. You know what I mean? This is Pluto energy. So, especially because the High Priestess is very Persephone. I think you've been tuned out for a very long time from your soul's deeper wisdom, which is our intuition, right? It's our soul's deeper wisdom. It is the things that make sense to the soul, even though it doesn't make sense to the mind. And so I think now that you're starting to listening more to how you feel, right? You're listening more to how you feel so that you can choose in your highest alignment and truly get your wishes filled, right? That was secret code name Moon Dance. We are going to be getting into Rainbow Valley. Timestamp 49:39. All right, Spirit, please. Insight and clarity into what has been perfectly imperfect. What we feel has been horrible, awful, all wrong, imperfect, and yet was completely perfect, right? What kind of clarity, one more shuffle, are we receiving? For secret code name, Rainbow Valley. And those who would be drawn to it in divine time. Ooh. We've got this night and day, feminine, masculine, Cancer moon, Leo sun type energy. We also have Scorpio and Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus energy, top and bottom of the deck. And then we also have Leo sun and Virgo Mercury as the card that flew. So top and bottom of the deck, I think you're very well aware of the fact that you're going through what is essentially a rebirth, okay, or a resurrection of the self, stronger than you ever were before. Night and day, right? Literally night and day. It's very, very huge difference, long way from where you started. I think that you've gone through what is potentially a trial of the mind. In order to get to what is essentially your own nirvana, you've had to put in a lot of work. You've had to put in a lot of work. It's almost like you're standing before the divine court. You've laid your old self to rest. Like the storm is outside. You've separated yourself from the storm. You've taken off these emperor's clothes, right? And have resigned yourself to the book, which is universal law. I feel as if you've allowed a humbling, and the persona that you felt you had to put on, this strong persona, this capable persona, this I have everything under control persona. I think that you've allowed yourself to take it off and be like, it's okay that I didn't have control. It's okay that in hindsight, I was probably a mess, right? It's understanding that no matter what character you were embodying, how you saw yourself, putting on that kind of strength of a show is very fucking tiring. To constantly have to show that you're fine when you're really not fine, to show that you're strong when you really just want to break down and feel things, you know what I mean? To put on this crown and these robes and say, I'm in control, and feeling like you can't let that shatter for your own self, because to acknowledge the fact that you're breaking would be weak, when really allowing yourself to break, allowing yourself to feel through the most uncomfortable pieces, right? Allowing yourself to look at those uncomfortable pieces objectively, which you can only do if you allow yourself to feel them. If you're putting on this persona of being really strong and negating the fact that you know, you feel completely out of control of everything that's happening around you. You're out of control of other people and what they're choosing and what they're doing and who they're connecting with and what you've got going on. And, you know, there's all of these different things that are beyond your control, and this need to put on this almost like a costume, you know what I mean, of holding it all together and being so strong, when the strength comes in facing what doesn't feel good. And like I said, looking at it very objectively and saying, okay, this does not feel good. I'm not in control of X, Y, and Z, and yet I'm letting it control how I feel, which is why I feel so out of control. Because the things I can't control, I'm letting affect me, instead of saying it's beyond my control. It's okay that it's beyond my control. It's not meant to be within my control, and I only have control over how I feel. I think you're shifting night and day from letting other things control how you feel to letting yourself be in control of how you feel, that other people are not in control of you like they used to be. I think that other people may have been very much in control of how you used to feel. Not just emotionally, but about yourself. That other people's actions or inactions about you, or their opinions of you, or their judgments of you, controlled a lot of how you felt about yourself. And I feel like you are learning that the only person's opinion of you that really matters is your own. Like, if someone chooses you, awesome, great. If someone doesn't choose you, awesome, they're not in fucking alignment with you, that's fine. It doesn't make you not great. You know, like, you're stabilizing now, and you're not the same person that you were. Insight, please, into this perfectly imperfect, beautiful resignation, right? It's the resignation of this powerless control facade. It's the resignation of that and movement into what is essentially a fully controlled self. You're in control of yourself. I feel like that's where this is going. And you're a whole hell of a lot stronger than you were before. That Phoenix energy is huge. Yeah, we've got the Four of Wands. You're looking at yourself in the mirror now. You're not this endless, poor, missing opportunities energy anymore. Queen of Cups reversed, Four of Cups reversed. Yeah, that Phoenix energy. We've got the Four of Wands with the Death card, and they've got wings on fire. Page of Wands. You're in union with yourself. You've reinvented yourself from that. You're tired. You're tired of not getting what you actually want. Seven of Pentacles on bottom, Ace of Wands on top. Lots of ignition. Like, look at this. The Four of Wands. You're seeing yourself in a whole new light. You're not ordinary. You're extraordinary. You know what I mean? This energy, this wings, these wings on fire. It's... Look at this. The heart space within you is reaching through this mirror portal. This magical portal. Your heart space is reaching out to your mind, and the mind is getting wings. You're dancing with the divine within yourself. You're dancing with the divinity within yourself. The Page of Wands underneath the Queen of Cups reverse. Like, you are reinventing, right? Page of Wands is a reinvention of the self. It's also Phoenix energy, right? You're reinventing yourself from this endless pouring person who cares about everybody else and not their self. You would put your love for other people first before you put love for yourself first. Everybody else's opinion or judgment or thoughts or feelings mattered about you more than your own. And that's what you're coming out of. That's reiterated like literally 3-4 times over. Four of Cups reversed, King of Pentacles reversed. I think you're letting go of this idea that you've missed an opportunity with a fucking asshole. They're assholes. They're not opportunities that you missed. Like, that was just the divine protecting you from what you didn't deserve. Like, the universe showing you mercy. My ears just crazy rang. Crazy rang. It's still ringing. It was just the divine protecting you. You did not deserve to experience these fucking assholes. You may have wanted them, but the universe kept them from you because you deserved so much more than that. They were not missed opportunities. That was divine mercy. Now all you have to do is patiently wait. That's all you have to do. The universe is going to completely shift things out of nowhere. If these fucking assholes come back and try and sweet talk the shit out of you or try and offer you whatever, like, now is the time you stand up for yourself, right? Now is the time you stand up for yourself and your own energy, that ignition, and be like, no. 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 You're dancing with the divine within yourself. I think you've learned a valuable lesson in what you deserve. And people who would trigger you or prompt you to question your worth aren't worth your time or energy. So all of these people, right, this perfectly imperfect awareness, all of these people that you were giving all of this mental energy to, this emotional energy to, or financial resource to, that you were spending to either impress someone or whatever, you know what I mean? Or you were putting out money to be helpful, right? For some kind of acknowledgement, like whatever it was that you were giving your energy towards. I think all of these unfortunate or imperfect events really helped you see your value, and that it is a #1 priority to value yourself, right? To actually value how you feel and your own opinion of you over other people, right? This is what you were learning, how important it is to trust your own opinion of yourself. Yeah, release. Remember, release. You have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the universe. Exactly. Spirit has been super confirming with these guidance cards. I'm really glad I decided to pull this deck out. Yeah, release these unwanted energies, these people, these opinions, this old self. Like, fuck it. Like, that was the version of you that you needed in order to be the version that you are now. And who you are now is strong as fuck. It's mystical, right? It's mythical even. The phoenix, it's a mythical creature. You've reached what is essentially a mythical level. Strength like that doesn't typically exist in action, right? In consciousness in the world. Everybody has that within them, but a lot of people don't tap into it, you know what I mean? And you've allowed yourself through this growth process, this imperfect, quote unquote, imperfect experience, to tap into what not many actually get to tap into in this life. You know what I mean? You have found love for yourself. You have found love and appreciation for yourself and have regained control of your energy from the outer experience, which is a big deal. So, love the process. It made you strong as fuck. Made you strong as fuck. All right. Secret code name. Pieces of You is next. Pieces of You. You might want to go listen to that song by Jewel. Which is interesting because I also heard her song Sensitive off that album immediately after. Listening back to that album might send you down quite the trail, right? You might want to listen to her Pieces of You album. Great album. Painters, I love that song. All right. So Spirit, what insight, clarities do we need for secret coding Pieces of You, those who would resonate to it in divine time, into the perfectly imperfect growth that has transpired for them. Interesting. Two very different energies on the top and bottom of the deck. Very different. Cancerian energy, Scorpionic energy, Gemini energy, Piscean energy, Aries energy, Virgo energy. This is the card that flew out for you. Be aware, I feel like you're in this energy because it's the top of the deck. That's what's conscious for you. I feel like you're in this inner union energy, right? The masculine and feminine twins with the angel there. It reminds me a lot of the Gemini and Sagittarian polarity. So that may be significant for you in your own birth chart. And I feel like this energy, what's outside of you, right? I feel like you may be being judged by someone, especially if you have a child, because look at the bottom of this deck. We have the child here being thrown into the fire by this older woman. And then we have the mother here, the young mother here with the, you know, baby in the cradle, this golden cradle. There's this court scene in between. We have these lashings going on with this widow type energy, these chains and shackles, and feeling like a fool, trapped. Make sure that you are not martyring yourself, feeling alone and yet bound to someone, feeling foolish, being afraid of what is essentially the law. I feel like if you are in union with yourself, right? If you're in union with yourself, you are this unicorn energy, and I feel like you have what is essentially darker energies hunting you, right? With this card here, there's this hunter trying to get the unicorn while the unicorn is, you know, taking a drink. I'm getting this immediate message to remind you that you have to put yourself, and if there is a child, your child first. And protect it from what is essentially these darker energies whose heart spaces are dark and would essentially let the child burn in their own trauma, right? That they would let the child burn or suffer because they have a dark heart space or a wounded heart space. They are toxic. There's this energy like you might prioritize the child and put the child as a high priority or on a pedestal, or treat the child, nurture the child the way it's meant to be treated, and yet there's these other people around you that you have to resist sacrificing yourself for and suffering for. Like, you might have to seriously look up and see the reality for what it is around you, that you're being hunted by darker energy and you need to take off, right? You need to flee. Be the uncatchable unicorn, take off. Remember that you're divinely protected, right? You have your angels at your back guiding you. And it doesn't even have to be an older woman. It could be a man. It could be a woman. It doesn't matter. It's their heart space is wounded, and the wounds go way back, right? The wounds go way back in their ancestry, or they've been wounded since God knows when. They're not necessarily going to heal this lifetime. Like, they're the forces that you in your light are up against. You cannot martyr yourself for these energies, these people, these wounded people, because you feel bad for them, or you think it's in the highest good of the child to have them around, when somewhere inside yourself you know damn right well it's not, because these people are wounded and they're toxic and they're not actually prioritizing or valuing the beauty of the child's light that you are. right? Pieces of you, like the child is a piece. It's a piece of you. You have to protect it, love it, nurture it, keep it on that pedestal, you know what I mean? Like, value it. It's a piece of you. Insight, please. Four of Swords, Three of Cups reversed. 10 of Swords, King of Cups, 5 of Swords. Yeah, this third party does not bring joy. They are a thief of joy. Like, this is very Princess Aurora, right? Sleeping Beauty type energy. And it's clarified by the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is on a throne that's actually washed up on a shore. It's almost like he's been traveling washed up on a shore. You may have to, you literally, and I'm going to be honest with you, you may really want to consider moving, especially if it involves crossing water. Because this Three of Cups reversed with this Five of Swords, whatever this toxic third party is, they're a thief. They're a thief. They're going to absolutely drain you down to nothing and have the masculine energy tied up to this family tree, this karma, right? This toxic, you know, hurt heart energy. Like, you have to decide. This is your judgment call. This is your call. Because I feel like if you stay around this third party energy, you're going to end up essentially helpless to the damage, that's done. Especially if you have a son. Because even the child here is a son. The child here is a son. Blonde hair. Or light hair. Really should have been both the cards. Yeah, this is where your heart has to get really clear on the truth about the sabotage and betrayal, because as the feminine or the intuitive person in the light, if you knew intuitively the whole time that someone was toxic and you chose to stay anyway, and that's the judgment call that you make, any wounds that end up on the child are essentially because you allowed it. So you have to recognize that truth. Even if someone else hurts them, right? Even if someone else is the one that hurts them and puts this wounding on them. If you knew that they were toxic and tried to make it work anyway, or, you know, felt like, well, you're supposed to, or it's their father, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but you know they're no good for the child. You know energetically they're no good, and they're just going to leave wounds. They're just going to leave wounds. They're going to tie your child to the wounds of their family tree. You can't blame others, and so therefore, you know, not making moves or continuing to stick it out down the road, I'm telling you, you're going to have to learn how to forgive yourself for the pain you witness on the child because you didn't make the choice. You made the choice to stay. You're up against very old feminine wounds, very old feminine heart spaces, it goes way back, right? When I say old feminine heart spaces, the wounding goes way back. Like an example, so you have an example of what I'm talking about, right? It's like, let's just say you have a child with someone and you're not with them, right? The cards underneath the deck, you're not with them, right? You're martyring yourself. You're alone, right? You are alone, and yet you feel bound to this person, right? Even, and you feel foolish. You feel foolish for being with them. You should have just stayed sovereign, right? You should have just stayed sovereign. This person, let's just say as the years go on, does nothing but disrespect you and nothing but disrespect you and nothing but override what you feel is in the highest good of the child. Maybe they disrespect you in front of the child, and what they're teaching the child is it's okay to disrespect the mother. It's okay to disrespect women that love you. It's okay to have a low opinion of them. It's okay to mistreat them. Like, do you really want your child to learn that it's acceptable, right? Because you continue to do it. You continue to choose it. You choose it. You continue to choose being disrespected. You continue to choose being used. Do you really want the child to learn that? Because the child's a sponge. It's going to mimic what it experiences. This masculine person probably also witnessed their mother being abused or being disrespected or being put under thumbs, so to speak, you know, and now they're doing it. And so they're doing it to you and teaching it to the child. If you know this person disrespects you, if they hold you in no regard, they don't give a fuck, do you really want your child to witness it? Because that's what they're going to learn. That's what they're going to learn. It could be as simple as, why do you have to nag me all the time? They could be refusing to help take care of you or the child. And the child could learn it's not their responsibility to take care of a woman who ends up pregnant with their child. It's not their responsibility. I don't have to take care of you. You chose to keep the child. You take care of it yourself. And they're teaching the child to be irresponsible or to negate their responsibility, and that's acceptable because you continue to allow it, right? It's the bigger lessons over time. And so you really have to take a really good look at the reality of who it is that you're dealing with and accept the fact that maybe they are very toxic and they're only present to snuff out the light. You have to choose what is in the highest good, what you want your child to witness. Do you want them to witness a very strong feminine energy, right? Especially if you do have a son, because, you know, they tend to be attracted to women like their mother. Do you want them to be attracted to strong, beautiful, powerful women that love them and care for them and put them first and their feelings as a priority and teach them how to be nurturing and teach them how to be respectful? Or do you want someone else to teach them otherwise? Like, you are at this place of choice. What's the guidance, please, Spirit, for secret code name Pieces of You? Empathy. Remember, you feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. You have to put yourself in the child's position. Empathy. The child doesn't get to choose what it experiences, you do. If you were the child and could choose an experience, what would you choose? If you had a choice, what would you choose? Light or dark? Nurturance or trauma? Feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. yourself in the child's shoes. And that is the message. So, I appreciate all of you. I look forward to the next Secret Codename event. It will be in just a couple weeks. And if you would like your own Secret Codename reading, your own personal reading, then you can book them through my Etsy shop. You can also get personal readings as a Divine Rebel member. So you can join via the link in the description. I do lives every Saturday on masculine and feminine energy, and then I read for one of the members on Sunday. Whoever catches the live, I will read one member and give them a personal reading every Sunday at 11 a.m. So, love and blessings to all of you. I have faith that the clarities that came out tonight and whenever you catch them in divine time will serve you in your highest good, as is always my intention. My love and support is with you always. Take care, everyone. Bye.